This week, as we approach Halloween, I'm reviewing the only game that ever frightened me. Condemned Criminal Origins, which I had originally played on the Xbox 360 and I'm replaying on Steam for the PC, was developed by Monolith Productions and released by Sega in 2006. Monolith Productions went on to make games like Shadow of Mordor and got their start with titles such as Fear. Before I go any further, let me just say that this video does not feature any intentional jump scares. There may be some scenes in the game which include scary content, but the sound is turned down so there are no sudden loud noises. When I played Fear in college, I thought it was a cool supernatural twist on a first-person shooter. When I played Resident Evil for the first time and the dogs jumped through the window at me, my adrenaline shot through the roof. But when I played Condemned in 2008, I genuinely had to set my controller down and walk away for a few minutes to collect myself. No game before or since has done that to me, at least in terms of scaring me. You assume the role of Agent Ethan Thomas, voiced by actor Greg Grunberg. Agent Thomas is a federal agent tasked with solving the crime of a serial killer known as the Matchmaker. You use forensic tools to assess crime scenes. They are, of course, fictional and quite advanced, but this leads you to your operator. Think of it like the Matrix movies. You're paired up with Rosa, who you work with on the other end of the phone, and she's able to process and analyze the evidence you find and send updates to your phone. Remember, this was 2006. Only a handful of smartphones even existed, and they certainly weren't this powerful. And the cameras definitely weren't the kind of quality you were going to use to analyze a crime scene. Still, the gameplay beyond that is a traditional first-person shooter that has a huge emphasis on melee combat. You can find some guns, but there's an achievement for beating the game without using any, and the hand-to-hand combat is actually kind of fun. Once an enemy is weak enough, you can simply press a button to enact a satisfying finisher of some kind. The graphics of the game may not be perfect, but they are quite good. Even at 12 years old, playing this game at 1080p is good. The shadow and lighting effects hold up extremely well, but the models and animations might leave you wanting. And the textures definitely have a bit of a color animation vibe more than a gritty realism vibe. Still, the glow effects and certain blurs help when things get otherwise a bit too confusing, and a film grain filter can be used to great effect to heighten the creepy factor of certain scenes. Although we've seen these techniques before in games like Fahrenheit, also known as Indigo Prophecy, and Rockstar's Manhunt, they still do the job quite well. The sound design of Condemned Criminal Origins feels simultaneously brilliant and painfully under budget. I feel like a few people did some great work, but with some heavy constraints keeping them from making a masterpiece. Subtle things like dropping a 2x4 and hearing it bounce off the ground, to the whispers and voices you hear throughout the game, glass shattering, and more. It feels very real and all sounds excellent. Gunshots, however, feel extremely canned and generic, and there's also a lot of repetition in the variety of sounds, making them less impactful every time you hear them. Still, all in all, I like the sound effects the game presents. The music is, well, in this case it's pushed way into the background. It's barely there, barely heard, and definitely not intended to take center stage. There are a few times when it feels like too short of a loop, or where getting lost in an area means hearing the same thing over and over. Luckily, there's nothing too memorable, although there are a few other times when it is undoubtedly hauntingly perfect for a level while you're playing in it. So, what about the story? Well, despite the fact that I played this game on the Xbox 360, I'm unable to track down my copy, if I still own it, which I thought I did. And the manual doesn't appear to be included with the Steam version of the game. Despite not having that, I can say the game feeds you little bits of story, piece by piece, and keeps you hot on the trail of your serial killer. It starts while you're investigating the very first crime scene. A line of dialogue so subtle is like a small pebble that triggers a rock slide.
Becker, no smoking at a crime scene.
I don't smoke.
Well, someone was.
Before you know it, you're fending off what appear to be homeless junkies, fighting for your life, your innocence, and your sanity.
It all became too much. You weren't solving cases like you used to.
You're talented, high-strung. You snapped. It happens sometimes.
Look, I did not snap. Someone else killed those policemen. It looks like it might have been the matchmaker.
With your gun? That seems unlikely, doesn't it? We have psychiatric staff that can help you sort things out.
With all due respect, I don't need a shrink. Maybe I have gone crazy.
But still, none of this compares to the one scene in video game history that made me set down the controller and take a breather. Admittedly, the first time I was binging the game, hours deep into a late night play session in the dark, immersed in the atmosphere of the game. But even when replaying it this time around, knowing what was coming, it didn't scare me in the same way, but it still sent chills down my spine. This scene doesn't contain any spoilers for the plot of the game, but it may contain a spoiler for one of the creepiest moments in the game, so skip ahead if you want to experience this for yourself. I just know someone out there is thinking, what, that's it? So what? But I also know that somewhere out there, someone else just got to chill. And that's what makes this game stand out so much in my memory. Why I was condemned to go back to it 12 years later, why it's criminally underrated, and why it's always had a place in the origins of our story so far. Hey everybody, thanks for watching episode number 87 of Our Story So Far TV. I can't believe it's taken me 87 episodes to get to this point. This is an episode I've actually kind of wanted to do from the beginning. If you liked this video, and I hope that you did, please hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you've played this game before, or think you might want to play it after watching this video, leave a comment down below. If you really like this video, like the concept behind it, there are plenty more where that came from. This is episode number 87 after all, so check out the channel or check out ourstorysofar.tv. New episodes are uploaded every Friday. Until next time, take care of yourself.